Hello, Soul Fam. How are you today? Welcome to another Conversations with Kristin, the part of your day where you explore human consciousness from the inside out. So today I wanted to talk about why this healing journey of life matters. What's the big deal about befriending your consciousness? Why is it something that's worth investing in? Why does it matter at all? So there's three main reasons why befriending our consciousness matters, why embracing this magical, miraculous healing journey of life is something worth investing in. The first one is that 80% of decision making stems from unconscious memory systems. Deep within our brainstem and thalamus are implicit procedural approach avoidance body memories. These memories are the deepest type of memory possible in our unconsciousness, meaning they impact us without zero awareness of the memories directly. It's not the kind of memory where you're like, oh, I remember that one time. That's a different kind of memory. These kinds of memory are completely unconscious. We don't know about them directly. And yet they're impacting 80% of moment-by-moment decision making. Those moments where you're like, I'm going to open the refrigerator to look inside for food. Those moments where you're like, I'm going to call a friend to share something. Those moments where you're like, I'm going to buy this thing that I see that I really want. Every decision that's happening, 80% of that choice is coming from these unconscious memory systems. That's mind-boggling. Every moment where we think that we're making a very conscious choice, every moment that we think we're being really intentional and really particular with deciding, every moment we think we have power in our decisions, a lot of that is an illusion. Because 80% of decision making comes from these unconscious memory systems without our direct or immediate awareness. To learn more about this aspect, you can check out Peter Levine's work. And so 80% of decision making is coming from unconscious memory systems. We can only reclaim power in our decision making when we befriend the miraculous consciousness that carries us. When we befriend or be a friend, come back to a state of being where you're fully present and you're actually in your breath, you're in your body, you are in a state of being, not just doing all the time, you're in a state of being, and you're being a friend. You're being friendly, you're being loving, you're being gentle, you're being mindful, you're being considerate of your own self. When you befriend the miraculous consciousness within, you start to reclaim power over the 80% of decision making that's stemming from beyond direct and immediate awareness. Because once we start to befriend ourselves, we start to dive deeper into this consciousness that is within us, and that's where the memories are. That's where the unconscious decision making is coming from. And again, we don't know about it. We think we're being really mindful and choosing very intentionally. But all that intentionality is only 20% of what makes our decisions. 80% is coming from something we can't get to directly. And so to have power within our everyday life choices, the big things and the small things, our day-to-day habits and the overall direction of where our life is headed, it is imperative that we befriend the consciousness within. We are powerless if we do not befriend the consciousness within. When we befriend the consciousness within, we gain infinite power. Another reason it's really important is for communication. I think it's approximately 93% of communication, it's estimated, comes from our unconsciousness. 93% of what's being processed in moment-by-moment interactions with other people have nothing to do with the language being spoken and everything to do with the nonverbal language that is being conveyed from and articulated through our unconscious realms. And so the style in which we communicate with others and we receive communication from others has everything to do with the backdrop of our consciousness. And so when we befriend the consciousness that carries us, we improve our communication abilities. We learn to communicate more effectively, and we learn to process communication from others more effectively. And this can help with a variety of things, from feeling isolated to feeling rejected to feeling distant to feeling this disharmony within relationships. So many battles can be resolved when we befriend the consciousness within, because approximately 93% of communication is being processed unconsciously. Pretty mind-boggling stuff, right? is pretty gnarly. It's pretty intense. It's pretty awesome. So to regain power within our communication abilities, to regain power within our decision-making abilities, and right there, that's a big part of life. Making decisions and communicating, that's like a big part of life. And so life can improve when we befriend the consciousness within. So that's one reason it's important. The second reason it's important is for our mental health. Mental health and well-being is a big deal. The state of our mind is a big deal. How we experience our minds is a big deal. It matters in this life. It impacts us in this life. It affects us dramatically in this life. The health of our thoughts and feelings matters. And this was never something I really heard about growing up. But I think it's something worth talking about. The health and well-being of our thoughts, feelings, and overall state of mind. It really matters. And so mental health could look like a variety of things. It could look like having a battle of being stuck in too much chaos or too much rigidity, where it's just strict rules and getting stuff done, or it's just all over the place and there's no order whatsoever. It could be hitting one of those two banks and struggling to stay within the river of well-being. And this is quoting a concept from Dan Siegel. Or it could be you're actually struggling with a mental health diagnosis or mental health battles without a diagnosis. And this could be anxiety, depression, OCD, checking behaviors, dissociation, traumatic stress, insomnia, night terrors, mania, a variety of things. And so whether it's just kind of a battle between too much chaos or too much rigidity, or whether it's, a legit mental health battle that could be associated with a diagnosis, mental health matters. And all of our mental health comes from our consciousness. And so when we befriend the consciousness within, we transform our mental health. It's inevitable. Anytime we befriend our consciousness, we are reclaiming power within the well-being of our mind, because our state of mind comes from our consciousness. The state of our mental health comes from our consciousness. Our experiences of mind come from our consciousness. And so when we befriend the miraculous consciousness that carries us, we are transforming our mental health, reclaiming power within it, and overall improving our state of well-being. Any mental health battle can be resolved. And not just reduced. I'm talking resolved, cured, healed. It stops being experienced down the road. Any type of mental health battle can be resolved by befriending the miraculous consciousness within. And through this process of healing myself from 22, 23 years of chronic traumatic stress and dozens of associated health battles, I have explored human consciousness from the inside out. I understand how human consciousness develops, operates, and impacts unfolding life experience, and I know how it can heal. And that's why I offer my consciousness consultant services. I love connecting with fellow souls around the world to empower and uplift and amplify their everyday healing journey of life. Because everybody deserves to live in a consciousness that feels good. Everybody deserves a safe haven in the home of their heart. Everyone deserves to feel like they have the ability to thrive within their own consciousness. Everyone deserves that. And I truly believe everyone is capable of that, regardless of what is presently experienced, regardless of what has been experienced, regardless of the backdrop, the stories. My story is pretty gnarly, and yet I'm here. My story is crazy gnarly, but I'm here because of befriending the miraculous consciousness within. It transformed things that over 100 doctors said could never be cured, could never be healed, could never be changed. That's a big deal. There's a lot of hope alive right now. And we can harness that hope when we befriend the miraculous consciousness within. So any and every type of mental health battle, regardless of its specifics, regardless of its severity, regardless of how long it's been experienced, how many years of stories there are supporting the battle of this mental health particular, any mental health battle can be resolved when we befriend the miraculous consciousness within. And maybe it's just a tendency to be too much on one side or the other of chaos or rigidity, and maybe it's a mental health diagnosis, or maybe it's something else. Anything related to mental health can be resolved by befriending the miraculous consciousness within. That's the second reason. The third reason, number 3, third reason that befriending our miraculous consciousness within and embracing this everyday healing journey of life matters is because the true desires that we have lie at the core of our consciousness. The things that we really want, truly desire, the things that would make us happy, satisfied, fulfilled, that resides in the core of our consciousness. And so we can chase all these external particulars at the surface of our consciousness. I want this, I want this, I want this. But those do not fulfill, because our true desires lie deep within our consciousness, beyond our direct and immediate awareness. When we befriend the miraculous consciousness within, we uncover those true desires. We surface what we truly want. And from that place, we have so much more power to live our best life, to live a life filled with infinite moments of happily ever after, to experience peace, joy, and fulfillment like never before, to have a satisfaction in our soul that is so deliciously sweet we savor it for all of eternity. That becomes possible when we befriend the miraculous consciousness within. It's truly transformative. Everything that would truly make us happy, truly satisfy us, truly allow for us to feel expressed and seen and heard and free and liberated and thriving and abundant and joyous and prosperous and fulfilled and joyous and peaceful and satisfied, that all resides in the core of our consciousness. So when we befriend the miraculous consciousness within, we open doors where there were only walls before. And we create space to step into a future of our creation that feels good to experience. When we befriend the miraculous consciousness within, we open these doors where there were once walls. And we start to see the infinite potentialities of all we truly desire. And from that space, we're not just healing our mental health. We're not just communicating better. We're not just able to have more authority in our moment-by-moment decision-making. We are able to create an infinite life of happily ever afters. And everybody deserves a life of happily ever afters. There can be a few moments of happily ever after in our everyday experience. We're winning. Okay? We're winning. So the healing journey of life, what's that? What's that all about? So change is the only constant. It happens gradually, so a lot of times it doesn't really feel like change is always happening, but that's the truth. Everything is energy in motion, and energy is always moving. It's always on the go. And so the healing journey of life is the conscious embracing, knowing that we're in a process of infinite becoming. We're in a process of infinite becoming. We're not just here trying to get here and then the journey's done. It's not like that. That's not what life is. That's not ever what life is. That's not ever what life is. Life is an infinite process of becomings. And change is the only constant. And so embracing the healing journey of life is being in conscious presence with that knowing and having authority in the direction of that change and the direction of that becoming. Because if change is the only constant, but we're not choosing how the change is unfolding, then we're really powerless and we don't have any influence over the direction of that change. And no one wants to be in a place of powerlessness. Nobody wants to feel like they don't have authority in the unfolding storybook of their life. Nobody wants to feel that way. And so when we befriend the miraculous consciousness within and embrace this everyday healing journey of life, we gain authority in the unfolding storybook of our life. We gain influence over the direction in which the change is occurring, and we embrace the truth that we are in a process of infinite becomings, that we get to celebrate who we are, where we are. We get to celebrate every step of the journey, and we are allowed to continually progress to new phases of our personal evolution. And at the core of that is love. We're learning to love ourselves deeper. We're evolving into a higher vibration of love. When we evolve into a higher vibration of love, everything else changes. Because all the stuff that's trapped inside of us causing these problems is based in a place of fear. And there are only two kinds of energy in this entire universe: fear and love. Everything, every single thought, every single feeling, every single neurophysiological aspect of our wiring stems from either love or fear. And sometimes it's a intertwining of those two things, and it's hard to distinguish. But there's only two kinds of energy, and at the core of everything is dominantly one energy. And so when I was struggling with night terrors, insomnia, traumatic stress, dissociation, anxiety, depression, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. All of those were fear-based energies in my neurophysiology. And loving myself into wholeness transmuted those energies, rewired my nervous systems, reprogrammed my brain's subconscious neural networks, transformed my memory systems. And now I get to live in a state of love where I love myself, I love my body, I love my mind, I love my life, I love all aspects of nature around me, I love all the people I interact with. And there's no fear anymore. There's no fear anymore. It might arise on occasion and I'm like, wait a second, that's not who I really am. That's just an energy inviting me to love myself deeper. And then I do that and the fear is resolved. We are all love, light, and miracles at the core of our consciousness. Our conscious awareness is light. Our subconscious realms literally, neurophysiologically, neuroscientifically develops through experiences of love. And our unconscious bodily states are filled with infinite miracles. Miracle, 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 miracle. Miracle, 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 miracle. We have three states of consciousness, we have three layers within our consciousness, three layers within our consciousness: our awareness, our subconscious, and our unconscious. We are light, love, and miracles. That's the truth of our being. When we can embrace that truth and befriend the miraculous consciousness within, embracing this everyday healing journey of life, everything changes. Literally everything. Because experience comes from consciousness. Experience doesn't come from the outside world. This is all aspects of stimulus that activate our consciousness in particular ways to create personal life experience. But our personal life experience comes from inside of our consciousness. So when we transform our consciousness by befriending it, as we embrace the everyday healing journey of life and reclaim our personal power, our whole life experience changes. Literally. Literally. You could experience the exact same physicality, but it will be completely different because your consciousness is different. And I've experienced this firsthand. It is so powerful. The exact same things will be experienced so differently, and it will feel a lot better. It feels a lot better to experience once we befriend the consciousness within and start to do some of this reprogramming with love. It's powerful stuff. And so much of our perceptual awareness, our thoughts, our feelings, our ideas, our urges, our impulses, the manners of ways that we react and respond, the ways that we perceive and think and feel, all of those come from our subconscious realms. Bunnies hopping through a fence. All of those things come from our subconscious realms. And our subconscious realms are literally sculpted through experiences of love. According to my miraculous inner being diagram of consciousness, where I explain, explore, and empower human consciousness from the inside out using my own language, my own diagram that I've created. Powerful stuff. Our subconscious parts develop through experiences of receiving love, experiences of giving love, experiences of observing love, and experiences of protecting love. These four types of experiences of love are what shape our subconscious parts. And our parts are who communicate between our unconscious body and our conscious mind. They're energetic communicators between these two realms of our beingness. They're intimately connected with memory systems, attachments, and belief systems. and the stimulus-dependent activation of our neural networks, which are the element or aspects of personhood within our subconscious realms. And so if our parts develop, originally come to exist, particularly from the first second that we're born as babies through age 15, that's the prime window of this development, laying the foundation for the core of our consciousness. Those subconscious parts are originally sculpted into existence through experiences of love. Then guess what? Self-love heals our parts. Loving our parts heals our subconscious realms. Love conquers all. Love transmutes the energies. And so when we rise into a greater love for all aspects of ourselves, we can heal our attachments. We can transform our subconscious realms. We can recover and reclaim all these aspects of ourselves. And this includes attachments. This includes memory systems. This includes belief systems. They can all be worked with indirectly when we directly work with our parts by investing in love. They are sculpted into existence through experiences of love. And we did not have authority over what happened then, but we do have authority over what happens now. Every single day, our brain is being rewired. Neuroscience has discovered this. Neuroplasticity. Our brains are constantly being rewired. Every single day, we're having experiences that transmutes the wiring of our neural networks. Same with memories. Every time a memory is recalled, it is being reprogrammed, which means our memory systems are constantly changing. They're not just staying the way that they are. This means we have a lot of power, we have a lot of influence, we have a lot of authority through the power of our own energy. Personal power can be harnessed through intention and attention, because these two things single-handedly influence the manner in which our brain's neural networks are activated and reprogrammed. Like, that's a big deal. Where we place our intention and attention is power, because it is single-handedly deciding the manner in which our brain's unconscious systems, our neural networks inside this miraculous thing, are being activated and rewired or reprogrammed. We always have power. So every time we remember something, that memory is being reprogrammed. It's not just staying the way that it is. It's powerful stuff. And so when we consciously choose love, when we love ourselves, when we give love to all these aspects of ourselves who might be hurting, when we choose to consciously harness the direction of our intention and attention, we can reclaim authority in our consciousness. We can heal our subconscious. We can reclaim a connected presence with these aspects of ourselves residing beyond direct and immediate awareness. Approximately 95% of our consciousness operates beyond direct and immediate awareness. That means everything that you know about inside of yourself is only 5% of the story. Only 5% of the story. 95% of what's happening in your consciousness you don't know about directly. It's influencing you. It's affecting the 5% that you do know about dramatically. But you have no idea about the 95% residing beyond direct and immediate awareness. Reclaiming power by befriending the consciousness within is a really big deal. And it's possible for anyone, anywhere. And this is really good news, because hope thrives, hope lives, hope reigns. Communication improves. Decision-making, we have more power and authority over it. Mental health improves and battles get resolved. We create space to thrive in ways we never imagined possible. And all of this is possible when we work with our subconscious parts from a place of love to reclaim our power and befriend the consciousness within. If you're ever interested in getting together, I offer one-on-one consciousness consulting services where we share sacred healing space in a call, and we dive deep into how you can befriend the miraculous consciousness that carries you. We explore your clues of consciousness, what's been happening in your everyday life experience. And then from those clues of consciousness, things that are observed in the 5% of consciousness that you directly know about, I help you explore the 95% that you don't know about. I help you connect the clues of consciousness with where they're coming from inside of your subconscious or unconscious. From this place of renewed understanding, we create a tangible, doable plan of action, something that you can really easily do every day from a place of love. To harness your power, cultivate greater love within your being to heal yourself from the inside out and befriend the miraculous consciousness that carries you. Healing is not just about like diving into pain and trying to make it better. That's allowed. It's from one perspective. That could be what healing looks like, but that's not my perspective. That's not my perspective. My perspective is that healing is always about love. Healing should always feel good. Healing is allowed to be playful. And healing doesn't need to be chore-like. Healing doesn't need to be something that's dreaded. So there's infinite healing modalities in the world, but all of mine involve love and gentleness and tender courage, relentless self-compassion. And I found a lot more healing through that than any other modality I've ever experienced in my life. So if you're interested in my one-on-one consciousness consulting services, I would be honored to share sacred healing space with you. You can email me anytime at artistryofexistence@gmail.com or explore my links below for more information. I also offer I also offer some healing journey resources. I create content on Patreon, and so I have music and guided meditations and personalized coaching videos I offer, patreon.com/artistryofexistence. I also have a series of guided meditations where I guide you with implicit language into diving deep into how you can be present with your consciousness and just practice that self-friendship in a way that feels good. It's a lot of visualizations and imagination, allowing for personal power reclamation. It's a very beautiful journey, and I definitely recommend it, especially if meditation is something that has been difficult for you. If guided meditations or trying to just sit in stillness has been a battle for you, I think this would be really, really wonderful for you. I create these guided meditations from a place of understanding chronic dissociation and all these other battles where it can feel even scary to just be with yourself. And if you enjoy meditations and you love it and you love exploring it, I would also recommend this. They're very fun, they're very colorful. It's a brand new experience of diving into your own consciousness, and it creates these tools inside of you that can last a lifetime. That's how I've designed it. I also offer a Restoring Consciousness Toolkit, where I explain, explore, and empower human consciousness from the inside out so that you have all the tools you need to start loving your subconscious parts into the wholeness that they innately are. And so in this Restoring Consciousness Toolkit, you explore human consciousness from the inside out, understand all the stuff going on beyond direct and immediate awareness. You gain a renewed understanding about subconscious parts, including how to recognize their presence. You gain step-by-step tools and instructions for how to work with them, how to recognize them, how to help them, how to respond to them. And then there's a few other tools also to help you reclaim your personal power along this magical, miraculous, everyday healing journey of life. If you're interested in my Restoring Consciousness Toolkit, again, you can email me at artistryofexistence@gmail.com, or you can check out my links below for some more information. I'm also coming out with a brand new book really soon. It is a healing journey playbook. It's kind of like a workbook, but with a whole lot more playing. And there's healing journey activities. It's filled with dozens and dozens of healing journey activities. These are all things that I've used to help heal myself, bring me into deeper presence with the power of the now, harness my personal power, transform my unconsciousness into a space that feels good to live in, be a friend to my subconscious parts, etc., etc., etc. It's filled, healing journey playbook, filled with healing journey activities, and they're very doable. Each one is like 1 to 3 pages, and so you can do one a day or one a week or play with it. So there's a lot of healing journey opportunities, and they're all fun things to do. My rule right now is if I can't have fun creating it, then people are not going to have fun using it, and nobody wants a healing journey that isn't fun. Nobody wants a healing journey that isn't fun. So healing journey playbook, like a workbook, but with a whole lot more playing. And they're very specifically designed from a standpoint of understanding neuroscience and understanding the way our brain and bodies work. And these things actually help to reprogram our nervous systems and help to transform our mental health. The book actually begins by offering a new perspective on mental health and then explains how the playbook helps improve mental health from any type of experience. So stay tuned for that. I will be releasing that pretty soon. And as always, I share free content on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, podcast, and my blog. So feel free to check out those lovely magical offerings. All those links are here below. I also have a store on Teespring. It's super magical. There's three styles of things right now. We'll maybe explore making more later. I love my parts of consciousness, Mosaic Mind Pride for all you multi-conscious warriors out there. And I am a unicorn of consciousness, unique horn of consciousness. And it's an acronym, and it explains how to be a unicorn of consciousness. Pretty cool stuff. And there's shirts and mugs and all sorts of goodies. So please feel free to check those out. They're a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to have powerful, tangible tools that you can carry with you in your everyday life. Hello! Tangible tools you can carry with you in your everyday healing journey of life to redirect your focus, because intention and attention are our power. And when we place our intention on loving our consciousness, when we place our attention on these aspects that can help remind us of our consciousness and the importance of it. Hi! Hello! Then we can reclaim a lot of power within it. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day, my brave, beautiful warrior soul friends. Thank you so much for joining me along this magical, miraculous healing journey through life. I truly believe that the best is yet to come, and we have only just begun. This healing journey invites us all. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Namaste, soul friends. The liberated inner child in me sees and honors the liberated inner child in you. Mwah.